Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the forward fixed track bar on this 2003 Chevy Monte Carlo. And it's the same part and similar process on these Monte Carlos from 2000 to 2007. And we show you on the driver's side, but the passenger side is the same procedure. And the items you'll need for this is a new forward fixed track bar from 1AAuto.com, 13, 18, 19, and 21 millimeter socket and ratchet with a piece of pipe for leverage, 21 millimeter wrench, 2 adjustable wrenches, torque wrench, jack and jack stands, pry bar, and a hammer. Start off by loosening these 19 millimeter lug nut caps, and then pull your hubcap free. Then remove these 19 millimeter lug nuts, and you want to loosen these while the vehicle's on the ground, then raise it and remove them the rest of the way. Unless you have air-powered tools, then you can remove them entirely while the vehicle's in the air. Once the lug nuts are removed, pull your wheel free. And then you want to remove these two 13 millimeter bolts on the back of your brake caliper. Now pry in on the caliper, and this will push in the piston and make it easier to remove. Set that aside. And then remove these two 21 millimeter nuts. And we'll fast forward as Mike does this. Hammer in between the strut, and this will help loosen it up, and now you can just hammer those two bolts out. And we'll fast forward as Mike repeats the entire process on the other side. Spray some penetrating oil on this bolt and on this bolt right here, and then just loosen up these two bolts that go into these track arms. Now just loosen up this 21 millimeter nut. And just use a 21 millimeter wrench on the other side. Jack up this center piece here that your track bars go into, and then remove these four 18 millimeter bolts. And we'll fast forward as Mike does that. Now carefully lower that down. bolt far enough back that you can pull the track arm free. Pull the rotor off so it doesn't fall while you're pulling this bolt out. And you want to just pry up on the bolt, up and over that bar, and then pull the bolt free. And we'll fast forward as Mike removes this bolt at the top of the track arm. And to get the bolt out the rest of the way, once the nut's removed and the bolt's completely loosened, you can just pry out on this carriage here. And then angle the bolt out as you twist it out, and you can pull it free. And then the track arm will just pull down and out.
On top is the new track bar from oneauto.com. On the bottom is the original one. They are identical, although they could be slightly longer or shorter, so you may want to have your vehicle aligned after this procedure is done.
And once you have it in place, just pry out with the pry bar and then angle the bolt back up into place.
And once you get it in, then put the nut on the other side and just tighten it up preliminarily.
Now take the bolt and push it back through the knuckle. And to get it to go in, you will have to have the knuckle at the right angle. And you can hammer it in the rest of the way, making sure you angle it up and over that line. You can see he pries out and he hammers, so to clear the line easier, and then it hammers down into place. Now push this back onto that bolt and push the bolt back through it. And then replace that washer and 21mm nut. And we'll fast forward as Mike tightens those up. And now just raise the jack to push this carriage back up into place. And replace and tighten up those 4 bolts. Now push your bolts back into the strut. Just hammer them in a little bit so you can get the nut on the other side. And then replace the nut and tighten those up, and they'll pull through. Then you want to torque both of those to 120 foot-pounds. Replace your rotor. And then take your caliper and slide it back into place, lining up the holes on the back with the holes on the knuckle. And then replace those 13mm bolts and tighten them up. And then repeat the process on the other side. Now you want to lower down the rear suspension onto 2 jack stands, putting the pressure on the suspension, and then tighten up the top track bar bolt and the lower track bar bolt as tight as you can get them.
And here we're just tightening up the other track bar bolt, and you will probably want to get an alignment after this is done because the track bar could be a slightly smaller or larger than your old one.
And then replace your wheel. And replace the lug nuts and tighten them up. And you want to tighten those while the vehicle's on the ground, and then you want to torque each of them to 100 foot-pounds in a crossing pattern. And then replace your hubcap and tighten up those lug nut caps. And then you're all set.
We hope this video helps you out. Brought to you by oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free, 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.